Now I'm going to block in the field of wildflowers. And Keeahna wants purple, pinks, and reds. So I'm starting out with dioxazine purple. And I have a little dioxazine purple plus ultramarine blue that will drop back. The blue in there makes it drop back. And we're going to have some purple flowers in here. And they're going to come up. Since purple's a cooler color than our pinks and our reds, I'm going to let the purples be pretty much in the background. Be a little blue back here by these, back by the trees. Just a little. It's cooler, it's in shadow. Now I'm going to start bringing some of my pinks in. And there'll be little pink patches out into that purple. I'm using some of the greens left over from the trees just to add a little. There'll be some foliage out in those wildflowers. Again, I've got these pinks are going in behind the horse. There are a few little purple ones back here. They'll mix in with the pinks. Now some lighter pinks just here and there. Just a mix of color. Some of the darker pinks. I'll come back and refine this, but this gives me a basis for the flowers beginning. I'm going to have red poppies in the foreground. So there, I'm getting the darks of the poppies in first, then we will come back with the lighter highlights. I'm getting my basic shapes of the poppies in. And these up here you'll see more distinctly, more detail. And then as they go back, they get see less of the shapes and just more of a block of color. I'm going to come back and work my foliage greens around this. Now I'm using the dark red was cadmium red deep plus alizarin crimson. Now I'm using, this is pure cadmium red deep here. And this is some cadmium red deep plus cadmium red light. That's going to be our really brightest. The cadmium red light will be the highlights on the poppies. Get my block of color in, and then I'll come back in and paint the foliage around the color. I paint flowers first, leaves last, because that way when I come back in and paint the foliage, your brush is always going to pick up some of the color that's already there. So I don't want to paint my greens first and then have to come back in and paint the bright colors, because my brush will pick up those greens and muddy my flower colors. So I do my flower blocks of color for the flowers first. Then I'll come back and add the greens. And I just want a mix mash of color out here. But you can already see how that red is warmer than the pink. So the red's coming forward. And then the purple goes back even more, because it's the coolest of the three colors. That's why I want it in the background. And a few little pink blossoms will pop up here in the mix of the red. But I'll come back and refine this. This is just very, very rough right now. put a little bit, patch or two of, I'm going to mix a little purple into that pink and just put a patch or two of pink way in the distance. And I've added the purple into it to make it cooler so that it'll go back. We'll have a little patch back there. And we'll also have some purple flowers kind of come back in and among the others. Because wildflowers just don't grow, unless they're in a field growing commercially, they don't grow in strips. So they're going to come back in, have some in there. So that is my color all blocked in. I'll come back and paint the greens, the foliage, the leaves, and all of the flowers then around the color. I appreciate you following. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also come visit my blog where I show the complete step-by-step process of this painting and others that I work on. The address for the blog is on the final frame of my YouTube video. You have a wonderful day and happy painting.